Wagwan people, welcome to the first episode of our build breakdown for the new Porsche 997 LS powered drift car that we're planning to build. It's me and my boy Reese today.
How's it, guys?
Bouncing off some ideas off of each other. Just give you an update on where we are so far. It's still a shell. We just did the 6-point roll cage on it, running NASCAR door bars, and it's pretty much, it's not, the roll cage is not like a GT3, it's more like drifting style because we got one main line going on the center hoop over the driver's side, since it's a left-hand drive for me. Most drift cars, this is acceptable in most drift series around the world, the style that I've done. NASCAR door bars are acceptable in most drift series around the world, so that's what we're running for this setup, chromoly and all. It does the job. It's a pretty clean, simple cage, and we just started doing some of the fabrication work on the front end. We start off with CAD, cardboard aided design, as they say. We did some bracketry, and we're running black boost fan. It's 1,000 watts, so we're running the radiator up front, and the battery we're hoping is in this position, but this is not the one. We're just taking measurements on it.
Seeing clearance and whatnot we've got here, and then possibly changing it out with a different style battery.
Yeah.
The coolant expansion tank's going to go most probably in this location, with the power steering line and everything up this end. Actual lines themselves from the front of the radiator all the way down through the main chassis, towards the end to the LS power plant.
Yeah, but we're going to be running electric power steering on this car, so we needed the space to go somewhere for it to go. With the, obviously, like you said, with all the lines and stuff, it can go straight into the steering rack on the bottom. If you come this way, you see the boys are busy with the laser. This is Noor, this is Raju, our head mechanic, and Munir. Munir is our fabricator. He did all the magic. When will go? Yeah, see? So they got the lasers are on. They're measuring off of the stock locations. We already did all the measurements of the stock Porsche that's there. We'll talk about that one in a bit. So right now they're measuring. So the idea is, or my old idea was, we jigged all the arms, and after checking out so many hubs I have in the workshop, Wisefab E92 is the closest, I would say, or easiest to modify for this build specifically. Raju, turn it this way, short. Yeah. So obviously all this is going to be changed because the steering rack is going to be needs to be located a lot higher. So literally all the bottom half is going to be different. But we're just measuring up a few things where the stock control arms go. That's why they're putting it on right now and lasering it up to see how many changes, what are the changes we need to do. It's still in the initial stages. Obviously, we'll keep you updated on how it goes. This is the jig that where we did the stock arms, all the measurements, the angle of the bearing, and yeah, it does the job, as they say. Here we have the rear hubs, the rear setup. So we want to run Akibonos here. It's all welded and then powder coated, and we want to run Nissan stub with the bearing assembly. So we have to machine the whole centerpiece, and even on the rear we want to run spherical bearings to adjust all the control arms. Here are the control arms, and this is a mock-up because I think I like it. This is the transmission mount where not the transmission mount, where the lever is, and the cables for the Porsche gearbox goes here, and it comes in with we have a mount for the reverse mounted handbrake. We've done all in-house the design, and we just finished welding it. It fits all good. He's still trying to
Seeing
make me change
get
a
any
few
other
things.
ideas out of the way, maybe different design, different structure, but I mean, so far the finished project looks pretty good.
Yeah, and we made it out of steel just in case we need like extra. Need heavy duty lever for the handbrake.
For the fun haver.
Exactly.
So tell the people about this engine.
Obviously, this is a mock-up engine. This is not the real one, but it's an LS. I think it's an LS2 or 3. but we're mocking it up with the Porsche gearbox, and we are doing these some more cardboard stuff for the alternator that we want to run. This is a Mercedes alternator because a lot of the guys locally here do a lot of LS swaps on trucks and stuff, and they all swear by it because they run the Merc fan too. So we took the stock bracket and then we saw where it works and what's needed to put that one on. So there's a lot of back and forth going on right now with that one. I'm gonna geek out a bit on the gearbox. It is a Getrag out of 996. It's called the G9600 or the 01 if I'm not mistaken. The 996 and 997 both run basically the same gearbox. The earlier ones were a Getrag. The later models were Aisin, and there's small differences where the lever goes, but basically it is the same gearbox. And if you do an LS swap, the pressure plates and the discs do have to be different. There's small details technically that need to be changed, but overall it is the same gearbox. We couldn't find the 997 one. This is the next, it's basically the same thing. And Getrag, if I'm not mistaken, you can actually get some more parts out of it as an aftermarket.
With some of the parts that we're going to be swapping over, we're waiting for seals from both sides. Obviously, we're going to be doing replacing the fork and slave cylinder, and the overall condition is going to get vapor honed by some of the guys we know locally here. Basically, refresh this thing to next to brand new.
And there's LSD going into.
Oh yeah, we're going to pop LSD because we're not going to be able to drift otherwise.
Exactly, we need to put one. We're trying to find a two-way. I don't think they do make them for them, but we'll see how it goes. We're still in contact with a few companies, and the engine, we're still not sure how much power we want to push. The first time we did it was a 6.8 in there, so we overbuilt an LS3. And it was a bit too much for the Porsche. Nothing broke, but it was just overkill. It was too loud. I think a nice LS3 will be a nice swap, a simple build. It will be more than enough power to throw that thing sideways, especially that I'm not going to be running, I think, 315s or whatever they were. This will be more practical, 18s, like 265s, something more like a drift build. So we're still contemplating on what power we want to push.
It's going to be a hell of a lot lighter as well, and a lot more fun.
100%. Yeah, and especially that this car's gutted. There's no AC. There's not like the old one.
The other ones, yeah.
Yeah, it has glass windows, everything, AC, radio. But this is basically gutted, Lexan windows and the works. It's like a proper race car, drift car kind of feel. So. We're still contemplating how much power we want to push, but it's obviously going to be under 500, but we're open for ideas. Well, let's talk about the base, the Porsche that we took off, where we took off the parts from. Some of you guys might know I had the flat nose Porsche, the kit that was on this car. It did have the LS. What we did was we took it off. We're putting the car back to stock.
Back to the Porsche motor?
Yeah, the Porsche motor is back on. We did a mold off of the door. The doors are back on. And the front end obviously is not there. We're putting back the stock front end. Basically, yeah, and here, if you see the picture with all the lights and the lasers and stuff, is from this setup. The radiators are on the right and left, and that's the frunk. But since I don't have any junk in the trunk for that build, we're gonna put the radiator up front. That's a fiberglass door we did because we took measurements for the roll cage. I wanted the roll cage to be tucked in, so we made a mold, did some measurements, had to shave a bit more off. So we're making another mold, and the final product hopefully will be pure carbon fiber, something very tasty.
Very spicy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So for now, that's where we are at. There's a few more things that hopefully in the next few days it's gonna be done. Right now we just need to check the control arms and all the length adjustments, and then obviously we'll put the kit up front so we can get the offsets for the wheels. We still don't know what wheels we want to run. That's it.
Should we tell the people about the color, or should we leave it as a surprise?
I think I have an idea for the color, but I don't think I'll leave it as a surprise for the very end.
You guys guess. Tell us what we should do.
And yeah, anything else you want to add, Reese? I'm not sure.
That's about it, huh?
If you have any questions, shoot them down. Reese would love to answer.
I'd love to answer them. It gives me something to talk about.
And if the more technical, the better, to be honest. That's pretty much it.
Thanks, guys, and hope to see you on the next one.
See you.